Everyone. This is How to Write a Book Part 7. For those of you just joining, my name is Hopi Davis. I am the published author of 6 books with 2 more coming this year. I write in the thriller and the romantasy genres. The thriller novels are my older books, the romantasy books are my newer ones, and I plan to continue publishing in romantasy going forward. This series was designed to help authors get their first book to market. This is very basic information. Of course, if you need more information, I recommend hiring an author coach or someone to help you more specifically with your specific book through the process. But if you are just wondering what the process looks like or want some basic guidance, this is it. I highly recommend starting with part 1 as this is part 7 and we're getting really close to the end. But you can also just start here and try to figure it out as you go along. So at the beginning of part 7, you should have a book that has been read by a dev editor, beta readers, and an alpha reader, or any combination of those. This book should have been edited by you twice now, and it should have a good plot, good character, good setting. It should be basically free of major errors like plot holes and, character not being fully developed or like an error in the timeline of your story. That should all be fixed by now, and you should have a book that if you were to publish it tomorrow, you would be at least somewhat proud of. However, of course, your book is not done. The biggest thing we need to address now is the grammar and punctuation errors, which a lot of people do struggle with, and that's okay. As an author, you don't have to have perfect grammar or punctuation or spelling. There are people to help you with that, and that is a copy and line editor. Personally, I believe that no book should hit the market without a copy and line editor. As I mentioned in part 6, you can skip a dev editor if you don't have the money, and there are ways to replace a dev editor, but I don't really think there is a replacement for a copy and line editor unless you write with perfect spelling and grammar, which I find really hard to believe if you do. If that is you, please let me know because I want to be astounded by your books. But a good copy and line editor will likely run you about a cent a word. So of course it is very expensive, but again, I really recommend that you wait until you have the money to pay one because I've read books that haven't been copy and line edited before, and they're usually not very good, and it usually affects the reader experience. A copy and line editor will go through your manuscript line by line to ensure that your grammar is correct, your spelling is correct, your punctuation is good, your punctuation is consistent. They'll also make sure you write all in the same tense and that you don't accidentally go to another tense or another POV. They really, I would say, polish your manuscript. They take a book that is good to a book that is great. A copy and line editor should catch most errors. Of course, after you have a copy and line editor, there is a final stage, which we will talk about next time, but you will need to go through your manuscript again and read it again and accept all of their changes. This is also what I would call your last read through of your book. There is one more editing step, which again I'll discuss next time, but this is your final read through after your copy and line editor is done. And so this is the time. I know you're sick of your book. I know you don't want to read it, but this is the time to sit down and really read it because this is the book that you are releasing to market after the copy and line edit is finished. So if you have issues with your book, you need to address them now. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next week.